Good evening, I'm Isaiah Jacob with your sports update. The Cleveland Cavaliers open their quest for a title tonight as their season tips off in New York versus the Knicks at 7. Neither team at 100%. Cleveland will be without Darius Garland, Max Strus, and possibly DeAndre Hunter. For New York, Josh Hart and Mitchell Robinson have officially been ruled out, and Karl Anthony Towns is doubtful. In NFL news, Washington Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels will not play Monday night at Kansas City because of a low-grade hamstring strain. But in Baltimore, the Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson suited up for the first time in 24 days. It's still uncertain whether the two-time MVP will start Sunday's game against the Bears. And then after days of negotiations, Tennessee's coach Tony Vitello has been named the new manager of the San Francisco Giants. This marks the first time an MLB team has hired a manager directly from a college program without any experience in the pros. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Bring it up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
Go with that team, stand away. He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side, going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh, Brad Rucker for the touchdown. Kraft shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
And welcome on into the Buckeye Show right here on The Fan. I am Matt Fontana in for Beam. Tonight we do have former Ohio State starting quarterback Justin Zwick with us this evening. Justin, so happy to have you alongside, man. Excited for the next hour. We'll take you up till 7 tonight. Plenty to get to on the show coming up, including, I can't wait to get this coming up about 6:30. There was a crazy question this morning on Wake Up Barstool about being an Ohio State fan and if it's actually boring. I can't wait to get to that. Bye week, we'll dabble with some of the pro Buckeyes going on. A lot of wide receiver news. And, of course, a little Justin Fields to get to as well. But, Justin, how you doing? We get a little Cavs action tonight. Basketball is back, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's nice to do a show with you, even though you're all the way up wherever the heck you are.
Cleveland.
Yeah, up in the land, just an hour south of where I grew, or hour north of where I grew up. So it's always nice to have a Clevelander on. But yeah, it's just a bye week here down in Columbus, so things are a little slow, and we're just kind of wondering what it's going to look like next weekend when Penn State comes to town, I guess.
We did get the Penn State time, noon, not surprising, just kind of with the situation with Penn State. And, just that's a perfect lead-in to kind of – I wanted to get your thoughts on this, just the bye weeks. Like, can they be hard? Can they be great because you get a chance to kind of reevaluate? We'll talk about the offensive line potential changes coming up. But just, like, what's that like for the team, for the players – and especially a team like Ohio State that seems to be – they're firing on all cylinders right now. This defense is amazing. We know where Julian Sayin is in right now. He seems to be playing the best football of the season so far. But, I don't like this. I don't. It's like here we are. Like I know the team needs to work and can kind of reevaluate some things. But, man, do I wish there was a game on Saturday. I don't want to lose this momentum.
Yeah, and I think players – are somewhat in that boat as well, just because you just get going into the season and, the day by day, you're just used to the schedule, right? And you're used to going out and playing on a Saturday and, just gearing up all week long, going into that. But, for the most part, with these long seasons and all the playoff and just, how many games these guys play nowadays, you're getting 2 bye weeks, which is crazy. Back in my day, back in the old days, I should say, we only got one, and it was, it usually came in the middle of the season and, you were ready for it because, between camp and then playing, 5 or 6 games, you're like, all right, I could use a little bit of a break. So, it is a good thing for the players. It could be a bad thing if you lose your game going into a bye week. But, fortunately for, the Buckeyes, we don't have that situation. So, this is a week where, they're going to get guys who have bumps and bruises, some, those little nagging injuries. They're going to make sure they rest them, get them in the training room, make sure they're taking care of their bodies. If anybody is kind of banged up, which, you're going to be 7 games into the season. So, this is a week for the players to kind of get right. I don't think it's going to be anything where they're going to be, the old bloody Tuesday or Wednesday practices or whatever they, talked about. I'm sure they're going to be tough practices, but they realize there's a lot of games to play. We want to make sure everybody's healthy. We've made it this far without any, knock on wood, real injuries. And we want to make sure we're going into Penn State fully loaded. So, as the players go, it's good to get a little bit of a break. You do miss that, schedule oriented. We're gearing up for Saturday. Now it's kind of just hey, we're getting some work in. We're learning, mistakes. We're trying to fix things that we've seen 7 games into the season, and and then we're going to get a day off on Saturday. So it's probably welcomed by the players nowadays. I mean, it's the second one. They know they have a tough stretch in November coming up, and then, beyond that as well. So, that's good for the players. Coaches, on the other hand, they're probably working even harder right now because, one, they got to probably be on the phone and recruiting and all that sort of thing here. We're into week 10 of Ohio high school football. Yeah, so, right, yeah. Some big rivalry games and whatnot coming up. And so their coaches are doing that. Coaches are self-scouting, just trying to figure out, all right, what have we done so far this year? What is, the guys on the schedule that we have remaining, how are they going to attack us? Are we giving anything away? So they're going to be doing a lot of that sort of stuff this week as far as the coaching staff goes. And, just wanting to make sure going into November, because November is for contenders, that they have everything nailed down and they're moving forward with a game plan and an idea of game plans going forward that maybe isn't the same as what we've seen so far. And we kind of have that loaded up because that last game we played was way different than the first 6 games as far as letting Julian and Sayin go out and throw it 42 times.
That I was going to go there, too, about that self-scout, because to sit there and try to piece it together, really try to nitpick probably is the thing where Ohio State has looked really good. I honestly think every game out, I've seen something get better and better and better, and especially led by Julian Sayin. So I think it's hard, Justin, to sit there and look at a team that is undefeated, that has really risen to every occasion, played different types of opponents, won games in different ways to try to find that. And I guess just when you look at it, and obviously we'll focus on Sayin here with you being a former quarterback, how did that play out with him able to throw the 4 touchdowns and all the yards like he did against Wisconsin? Do you think there was maybe that idea to say, hey, let's let them air it out so we can see some of these things to maybe work on, because we're not going to go anywhere without, Julian Sayin. Like, Jeremiah Smith is the most electric football player in college right now. The defense is playing so good. Carnell Tate is a man possessed right now. But you can't win a national championship without your quarterback being one of your driving forces. And I thought about that watching that Wisconsin game, because I've been a big Julian Sayin fan. Since they got him in that transfer portal, I thought it was one of the biggest moves that has happened to Ohio State. And had a lot of big moves and a lot of big recruiting wins. But that one, I was like, oh, that's perfect. And it was so good. So to see that, I know a lot of people that are Buckeyes fans, they go, that's it. That's what we've been waiting for Julian. And I was like, man, I think that's interesting to kind of let that go before the bye week, to let him feel good for the week, but probably even more to look at and to dissect and really kind of get into it for this stretch run coming up.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's been a masterful job what Ryan Day has done with Julian, I think. Now, granted, he has a defense that's giving up, 5 points a game, so you can bring a young quarterback along a little slower in those instances. With that Texas game, they didn't really ask him to do much. What they did ask him to do, he was really good at. And even after the game, Ryan said, we probably could have put more on his shoulders, but we want to bring him along slowly. We don't want to throw him right into the fire because we have a really good team. Our defense is crazy good. We just don't want to lose games. So, leading up into this Wisconsin game, I think all the fans, of course, were waiting for them to unleash him and just like, hey, let's see what he has. Let's go out and throw the ball. We don't, want to play this, time management game. We want to go out and score a bunch of points, put these guys away early. And then we came out in that first series was 8 passes in a row or something along those lines. I think we had 95 yards and one of them, or we had -1 rushing yards, but 95 through the air, something along those lines. So it was really cool to see. And I think going into that Wisconsin game with the way, Wisconsin's season has unfortunately gone for Luke up there, all the injuries and just all the bad luck they've had, I think Ohio State coaching staff said, hey, this is a really good chance to see what he has. Offensively, Wisconsin wasn't going to do anything to put us in any kind of trouble. And I think that coaching staff kind of knew. And, hey, let's go out and see. We've thrown everything at him. He's answered the bell on all this stuff. Now let's go out and, really let him air it out and take over this game. And right from the get-go, he just answered the bell again. I mean, the kid has checked off every box that they've thrown at him. Being on the road, first Big Ten game, Texas coming into the shoe. I mean, everything that, everybody points at, like, Washington's going to be loud out there. Is he going to be able to handle that? No problem. All right, well, Wisconsin's going to be loud. They're going to be fighting really hard. They want to, this is their Super Bowl. And he goes out and throws the ball 42 times, 80% completion for just under 400 yards. I almost don't understand it because the kid just seems like he's a vet back there. He navigates the pocket so well. He keeps his eyes downfield, keeps plays alive, knows when to dump it off to a running back or out in the flats when he's not sure exactly what he's seeing downfield. He just doesn't make that mistake. And then his accuracy and every ball that he throws, it seems like it's right in the receiver's face. Very catchable ball for those guys. I mean, it's been outstanding. And, throwing 42 times, the success he had against Wisconsin, every time you go out on the field for a young guy like that and you get a win and you do some good things, you're going to gain confidence. But when you go out and you're in a Big Ten game on the road and you're completing 80%, throwing the ball 42 times, that I imagine is even a little bit bigger of a boost of confidence. Like, I can go out and do this. And, so I think that was huge to get that in right before the bye week. And, we talked about the self-scout. Other teams are now saying, all right, well, gosh, we didn't think they could do that with him, and now they can. So how do you as a defensive coordinator, come in and attack this team, not knowing exactly what that offense is going to look like when they, take that first snap?
And it's crazy to think, too, because, like you said, beat Texas game one, and I think that was all, again, a low-scoring affair, really kind of defense and all that. But even as we started to go on offense, the excitement to be had about what could be bigger and what could be better and where things could really take this Ohio State team, and it is an exciting time. Like I said, I wish there was a game on Saturday. The bye is here for the second one, but that self-scout, so important. But that's not the only Julian Sayin news we got this week, because his Heisman odds after that game have rocketed on up. Todd McShay really starting to believe in Julian Sayin. So we'll talk about what he had to say on his podcast. And I do want to do a little bit of that comparison between Julian Sayin, some of the other top quarterbacks for the Heisman, and some potential offensive line changes coming for Ohio State. We'll get to all that coming up. It's the Buckeye Show right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Hey Buckeyes, I'm John Chabot with Surest, a digital-first health plan designed to make healthcare simple and affordable right here in Ohio. At Surest, we believe healthy small businesses are vital to our economy. That's why we're ready to give your small business a VIP opportunity through our small business sweepstakes. Winners will be recognized on the sideline at an Ohio State home football game. To enter, visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com/Surest. That's SUREST. Surest, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
AgPro has been family owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Attack and dominate. Morning Juice is on YouTube and 10 TV Plus.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Join Bobby Carpenter and Tito weekdays starting at 6 or watch on demand. More Bobby, less commercials. The Fan.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our low prices. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Cloudy skies and a bit windy and chilly out there on this Wednesday. Temperatures only in the mid to upper 40s. Overnight will fall back down to around 40 degrees with breezy conditions and mostly cloudy skies. Little sunshine to start your Thursday, some clouds to finish, but temperatures a little better back in the mid 50s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
Ryan Day's favorite radio show. Probably. Maybe. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Well, I know Ryan Day's favorite thing about his football team right now might be his quarterback, Julian Sayin. Matt Fontana, Justin Zwick with you tonight for The Buckeye Show, taking you up till 7 here on The Fan. And we talked a lot about Julian Sayin and I guess his kind of coming out party in a way, Justin, against Wisconsin, putting up all those stats. And certainly the talk of town here, but he also caught the attention of Todd McShay. So obviously Todd, well-known college football draft analyst for the NFL, and as a podcast, he's on The Ringer. And I was so interested to hear on his podcast where he talked about Julian Sayin. And he kind of came out and he was like, listen, I've been telling everybody about Julian Sayin. And he goes, he's still growing. And he talked a lot about what we discussed, the kind of the slow up the hill a little bit, trying to get his feet under him, understanding this offense. But he said when he watched him the last couple of weeks, he said, quote, consider this your warning. And I didn't know this until yesterday, until I sat down and watched the tape. But buy Julian Sayin stock now. That is my PSA from Todd McShay. So if we check the latest Heisman odds, different sports books, Ty Simpson seems to be the favorite, the consensus favorite, somewhere around plus 300, plus 200, things like that. Fernando Mendoza, really close behind him. And then here's Julian Sayin. By a lot of the books, Justin, he's right there in third. And if you just want to talk about stats, and I was just looking these up quick. So Ty Simpson is second in the nation. He's got 19. And all the yardage here is kind of semi-close, right? About so many of these different guys. And second in the SEC, 1,900 yards. So he's a little ahead of where Julian Sayin is. But Sayin comes in 13th in the country, 1,872 yards, 19 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. The other stat that just jumps off the page to me, he's only been sacked 3 times all year. You mentioned it, an ungodly 80% completion percentage. And in fact, he is the only quarterback in the top 17 for yardage to have under 200 attempts on the season. So again, he's making the most of every throw that he's got. And then when you click on the rating up there, he's only behind Mendoza and then Philo, who's down at Georgia Tech. So with those 3 guys, all the stats, whatever you want to look for, they're all throw a blanket over them, right?
Yep.
The only thing I think about Ty Simpson, they've beaten, 4 ranked opponents at this point now at Alabama after their season opening kind of shocking loss to Florida State. And then Indiana's going to have a really good chance to go undefeated, potentially meet Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. So I'm buying the Sayin stock because I worry maybe, and it's obviously not Ohio State's fault, that they might not have so many of the marquee matchups that Alabama might. And I think if they beat Indiana in the Big Ten championship, go ahead and seal that on up for Sayin over Mendoza. He's in the conversation, certainly. And I'm going to buy what Todd McShay's saying. I'm buying that stock right now for sure.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I was buying it before that. I thought we should have had some conversations about the kid, even though, it wasn't until Wisconsin where he really had a big, almost 400-yard game. But, I mean, the accuracy and just what they were asking him to do and what he was doing, all year long has been amazing to me for a guy so young, getting his first starts. And, I think we could have. I think Washington should have been in the top 25 when we played them. So he could have had a couple. Maybe a couple more top 25 wins. To spice that up a little bit. But they just didn't like to talk about him or anybody from Ohio State for that matter for these things until the last couple of weeks. So I think it's good that people are finally starting to see how good he is and just how good he seems like he's going to be. But that Wisconsin game put him on the map, and it was against a Wisconsin team that isn't having a ton of success this year, which so maybe that hurts him a little bit, but you still go out and do it. And I'll tell and argue with anybody, completing 80% of your passes is not easy. I don't care if you're on air, 7-on-7, 80%, over 7 games, we just about 200, attempts, just under that anyways. To do that is pretty impressive. The other guys, Ty Simpson 70%, Diego Pavia 70%, Mendoza 73%. Like these are guys who have played. They're a little bit older anyways, and some of them have played multiple years, and they're not close to his percentage. So I mean, it's really special what he's doing. He's everybody else is of course really good. Everybody loves Alabama. I feel like Saban's still coaching there the way they give them the benefit of the doubt on everything. But these are all great guys. They're having good years, but for a redshirt freshman to be doing this, I think it's pretty special. So he'll continue to be good. I mean, Penn State unfortunately isn't going to be the game that we thought it was going to be coming into this week. Now, with that being said, it's not going to be 1 versus 2, but it's still going to be a really tough game. Penn State still has a lot of really good players, missing their quarterback unfortunately, but and we've seen it with UCLA. These teams, when a coach gets fired, man. They can light their hair on fire sometimes. Yeah. So I expect Penn State to come into the shoe and give us a game. And, it may not be the sexy, top 5 matchup, but it's still 2 Big Ten programs getting after it. And, Penn State's been one of the better programs that we've had here in the last few years. So, if he goes out and has good games and continues to do this, I don't see how he's not in that top, 2 or 3, by the time the end of the year comes around.
And Todd McShay in his podcast was talking about Jeremiah Smith getting that Heisman love, too. So that would be certainly not the first time that we've seen that with a couple of Buckeyes at the finalist awards there for the Heisman. But I think the thing for me, you got to come back to the team. Like, I tweeted this week, watching that Wisconsin game. I go, it is so abundantly obvious. Whoever you root for, wherever your allegiance is, it is just a bona fide fact that there's a gap. There's Ohio State, and then there's everybody else. And you could slot in whoever else you want, and Oregon and Alabama and all these other teams and say, yeah, they're there. They deserve the next slot. There is a gap. Ohio State is without a doubt the best team in the country, and I think that should factor in. If you are the quarterback of the best team in the country and you are again, I'm not saying that this wasn't the case earlier, but it's certainly the case now. When you are 100% a factor in that, they are the best team in college football, and you're the quarterback of that, and you're being the guy that you're supposed to be, you got to be in that conversation. I think that's what's going to separate them potentially.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think they, that Heisman, with the exception of, a few years, has become just who's the best team in the country and what's their quarterback like and how's that work. If we were to win out, I mean, you mentioned it, if we see Indiana in the Big Ten championship and he wins that battle, like, all right, so he's the best in the Big Ten, which I think is a pretty good conference. I don't know. We went undefeated. If we go undefeated and all that good stuff, all that hoopla, and then he continues to do this, I don't know how the end of the year voters don't look at this and be like, man, this kid, yes, he has weapons. They all have weapons, and I hate when people use that against Ohio State. Oh, well, look at the receiver he has. Well, that's fine, but Alabama has great receivers too, and all these other schools have great players. It's just. we have a couple of them, and it is what it is. The quarterback still has to get them the ball and put it, make the right read and put it in a place where they can catch it. And, so if we go undefeated and he's not in that finals list, I think that would be a huge mistake.
Little update from Ryan Day today talking about the offensive line where they're looking at everything, and some people have zoomed in and kind of focused on that right guard position with Tegra Tshabola. And some issues there, some missed assignments. Padilla's right there behind him. I don't want to cast aspersions or just try to, get in the head of Ryan Day and kind of what they're working through. But Justin, what's that like to be on the bye week? And I really think it's I don't want to say blessing, but it's like Ohio State is that good that they can be focused on every little thing and what can we do to be better at every single position. But just could that disrupt things? Is that something you really want to wait for a bye week to make a move like that if Ohio State plans on making a move?
Well, I think Padilla is kind of rotating in the last couple of weeks, I feel like. Maybe not a ton of series, but, they were at least getting him in the game. So I don't think that it's something that is going to jump out at Tegra and be like, oh, where did this come from? Type thing. I don't know. With all we went through last year on the offensive line, just the injuries and having to move people around, I think you can kind of make those moves, and you don't necessarily need a bye week for it. Now, with that being said, the last game that we had, unfortunately, that right side didn't play very well. In the run game. Pass game, I think the entire offensive line has been really good, which is kind of surprising to me because usually the pass protection takes a little bit longer to gel and to really get a feel for it, where this year it seems like it's the opposite. When we go to run the ball, we just seem to have some miscues. And, this is a good time to, all right, well, we've seen Josh get in there a couple times for some series in the last few games. Tegra really hasn't found it yet in a way. So this might be a time where they give it a shot. And now, I think back to last year when we go to the playoff run, Luke Montgomery wasn't a guy who got a ton of playing time last year, in the regular season. And then all of a sudden we're making this jump and all right, we're going to start playing this kid, left guard. And, oh, wow, he's playing pretty well. And, now he's a starter there. And so I think there's something to be said for, trying to mix things up and just seeing if we have the best five out there on the field because, getting into these big games, you're going to need that and you're going to want that. So no matter how it works, I mean, they both have played a little bit. Tegra, of course, has played a lot more. He's a starter last year, and this year he's a big body, and it just seems at times I don't know. I don't want to say it gets a little lackadaisical or misses assignments or whatnot, but there's just been enough to where people see it, right? Yeah. I mean, when you're whiffing on guys, people see that when a running back's getting hit in the backfield. So something needs to be figured out there, and if Josh Padilla is the guy that they trust to get in there and maybe they can do some different things with him. Maybe they're pulling in that guard instead of, I don't know if Tegra is quick enough to get around there if they wanted to pull the right guard. So they may have some different things they can do. And, you just got to find those best five and get them out there because this is, November is when it gets real. You got a few games to go and then you got the Big Ten Championship and you got the playoffs, everything right in front of you. You want to make sure that those five guys up front are the ones that you want to go to war with.
And a lot of times you need more than five.
Well, yeah, fair enough. You're right.
Exactly what you're talking about last year where you never know, and I'm not even going to say the word. You know what I'm talking about. Not even going to bring it up, but sometimes you just need more than five. I thought this was such an interesting question when I saw it this morning from Wake Up Barstool. Can it be boring to be an Ohio State fan? We'll discuss that. I can't believe we are, but we will. 2 minutes away right here on The Fan.
Hey, Columbus. It's Lorenzo Stiles Jr., Ohio State student athlete. It's football season, and just like on the field, success starts with the right game plan and the right team. That's why I'm proud to team up with Monogram Homes. They're the true custom home builder, bringing precision, creativity, and attention to every detail, just like we do on Saturdays. If you're ready to build, don't settle for standard. Go custom. Go Monogram. Visit monogramhomes.net to start building today. Monogram Homes, a builder you can trust.
Another reason to choose Hinderer Motor Company for your next vehicle. This is Justin Hinderer. Every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty, award-winning service, and our exclusive Carvenience. We pick up your vehicle, service it, and return it so you save time and enjoy peace of mind. That's Carvenience. At Hinderer Motor Company, we take care of everything so you can drive worry-free. See why we're the best choice for your next new or used car by visiting HindererMotorCompany.com.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, where can you get a full suite of business banking services served up by well-trained, caring employees with unquestionable integrity? It's right here at Heartland. Relationships matter. I'm Scott McComb. Come over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. James Peoples here, running back for the Ohio State Buckeyes. You have to check out the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. Get all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Buckeye sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State Team Shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
4 out of 5 dentists recommend this show. The other dentist is a Michigan fan. Yuck. You're listening to the Buckeye Show.
I thought it was super interesting, a question that I saw on social media that got brought up today on Wake Up Barstool. To Ohio State fans, it seems crazy. I'm going to try to play devil's advocate on this one and see the other side of it. He's Justin Zwick. I'm Matt Fontana with the Buckeye Show tonight here on The Fan. So the question was posed this morning. T-Bob Hebert brought it up. Is it possible that it could be boring to be an Ohio State fan? Now, I got to give Brandon Walker credit. He's on that show, too. He lit this up. He's like, are you insane? We beat everybody. It's fun when we win. We have some of the best players in college football. We send a bajillion guys to the NFL. We're living a dream right now. And I thought about the question, Justin, because the argument was like, well, yeah, everything's great. You beat everybody. You're in on almost every top recruit that you could get. And life is good. And it's like, it's been so long that Ohio State has been so good. Obviously, you know, there's some rough, you know, basically in our lives, Justin, I'm not that much younger than you. And like, you were part of it. You were there for the national championship. Success. You know, the suspension, 1 down year.
Yeah, been like maybe 2 down years.
2 down years in our lives. I mean, that's it. And I don't take it for granted, because there was another post that somebody brought up and they go, yeah, but we're also in the state of Ohio where, like, I'm a Browns fan. And there's a lot of Bengals fans listening. Like, that can be a rough go of it. Ohio State is kind of our escape. And to answer the question, I'm not bored of it, but I try to see the other side of it and go, yeah, there's teams that are even, you know, you think about Florida, right? There was a time that Florida was everything. And look at where they're at now. Like, Ohio State, to so many people's credit, the coaches, the administration, certainly the players, it's been that long of success because it's been over and over the people that are coming in and getting it done. I don't take it for granted. I don't think I ever will. And to answer the question, I am not bored as an Ohio State
fan. Well, the scary thing is, Matt, we might be entering like a new, better version of what we've been doing for the last 25 years. Right. You know, I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about it that way, but we had, you know, how many freshmen playing last Saturday? Yeah, it's just like not missing a beat, whether it's in the secondary or the receivers that are coming up, or just, you know, when they put the second team in, we're not missing a beat, and I don't really see it slowing down anytime soon. So it may just get better. But, you know, to go back to the original question, you know, it's not boring, no, but they also, I don't feel like they understand the Ohio State fan, where it's like, yeah, we didn't score on that. This game is over. We're going to lose. You know, like it's not necessarily. I mean, I watch the games with my dad sometimes, and it's like one bad thing happens, and he's just like, oh, well, we're going to lose this one. And I'm like, would you relax a little bit? You know, but that I feel
was
like.
Was he that way when you played, though? Like, was he that dad in the stands when you were playing? Like,
he probably was. Thank goodness I never had to be around him then times. Right. You know, but, you know, I feel like a lot of Ohio State fans can be that way. And even. You know, us, like you nitpick on, well, our punter's not very good, or we're not averaging, you know, we're not the best average punt team in the country. We got to fix that. Or, you know, just little things that we as Ohio State fans, because we have been so successful for so long, it's just like we got to nitpick here a little bit, and maybe we're not as happy as we should be, and that sort of thing. So I don't know if the outsiders really understand, the fandom of Ohio State, but we've had a heck of a run. It's been a great 25 years, since Tress came on board in 2001, I think was his first season. So, ever since then, things have seemed to be, really good, and it's not boring. But we also go into every game knowing we're getting everybody's best shot. So if we are not on our game, or if we used to see it, we haven't really with Ryan Day at the helm, but before that, he's like, you'd go out to Purdue and get smoked, 52 to 14, or just like we always seem to have one of those games, right?
Yeah.
And
Michigan State.
Michigan State in 15. Exactly.
Still to this day, just that. Like you said, we've had trap ones like the Purdue and even the Iowa and all that. Like something about that Michigan State, like that team was just so good. So
and they've done it a couple times to us, unfortunately, Michigan State over the years. But like we're getting everybody's best shot, and so like for us to be able to go out, and I think that's what Ryan's message this year has been. It's pretty simple. She's like, just win. Like, I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what we have to do it. We just have to win, and we have to be basically just be ourselves and be be the team that we are, because we're better than everybody. So we got to take care of business. But I think he's done a really good job at just, and he's done it since he's been here. I don't think we've had one of those types of games, since he's taken over, where it's like, well, we were 20-point favorites and we lost. Like we don't, that doesn't seem to happen anymore. So he's done a great job, and I think this year's even a better job of just. Whatever it takes, we just have to win the game. We just got to get to the playoffs so we have a chance to do something special like we did last year. And, it's really worked out well for him so far this year.
I also think when you were talking about entering a kind of like a new era, so to speak, my mind also went to the changes in college football, right? Like, because years past, we're not winning that national championship last year because we're probably not even invited. And I think there is a change in the fandom with, like, I'm a child of the BCS. I miss the BCS. I wish they would bring it back, just even, do the 16 teams that we'll get to, or even the 12 now. Mm-hmm. That's another debate for another day. But, with that change in the fandom where every game is important because, again, you lose too many, you're not going to the national championship, but it's also just a pride thing, a respect thing. Like you said, it's just we're going out there because more often than not when we take the field, we are going to be a better team. Mm-hmm. So there is that change, but it's also the not slowing down from Ohio State. It's interesting because you would say the guardrails are wider because now you have a better opportunity to make the playoff and do exactly what we did last year and just run the table because we were the best team. Glad we got included and all that. But I actually kind of come from the other standpoint of it where the goals have never changed. It's actually now harder, right? Ohio State is one of those rare teams that every single year we're in the national championship picture, right? And so years are different on players and what they did the year prior, but the goal has never changed. It's always been the same that we should be hoisting that trophy at the end of the year. So in a way, it's changed now because there are more games, there's more team, they're trying to get more, overturn and the craziness that comes with college football. And as a fan of being bored, that I think is the exciting part of it. There's this new change, and you're still right smack dab in the middle of it. And it's something that everybody is still kind of chasing the Buckeyes. Even with all this change going on, everybody's still looking up and seeing the Buckeyes at one.
Yeah, that's very true. And then one thing I do like about the change where, just talking about you could maybe drop a game or drop two games and still, have a chance to get into the playoff is I think that allows us to go out and play some bigger matchups. I love the big program matchups. I don't know why. I love when Texas comes to town. I love when we go to Texas or, we have a bunch of big games on the schedule, in the next couple of years. There's, I think, in Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama's coming up.
So, I mean, I like seeing that. And I think, the new system kind of allows, it's not new, but, the system now kind of allows for some more of those games that college football fans just love to see in the regular season, right? And then you still have that chance to get there. But, yes, I mean, the Big Ten, as far as it's concerned, everybody's chasing us, and we just got to continue to recruit the way they do, recruit the players that they do, because, I mean, I don't think we really have any issues with any of our players and the NIL and any sort of that thing. We're not leaving after their freshman year. I think these guys recruit really well and, bring in the guys that are going to fit their idea of what their program is, and, they've just done a really good, I mean, they have knocked it out of the park there, and when you do that, you got to have players to win games, right? You can only call plays, but if you don't have the guys to go out and do it, and they've done a really nice job of putting together a nice roster.
It is, and you talk about the recruiting wins. That's even fun as a Buckeye fan, because there's not many. I mean, again, it's always fun on signing day and seeing the excitement of who's going where. But a lot of the updates that you get is, nope, they flipped this guy and this player, this 4-star, even 3 stars, but certainly 5 stars. Like, they're coming to Ohio State. And I think you said just such an important message there, is that they just want to be a part of this program because they know how important it is. Even like when you mentioned that, I really kept thinking of Tavian St. Clair, right? Where he has said, he's like, I'm a Buckeye.
Yep.
There's no question here. I'm a Buckeye through and through. Julian Sayin's here. You might have to wait. I'm a Buckeye. There is no second thought to this, where he could have gone to almost probably pick the litter, right, of where he wanted to go, and probably would have been a day one starter. It's important to him to come to Ohio State, and that's why the Buckeyes continue to win, with the recruiting certainly in state and throughout the entire nation right now.
Yeah, and I also think, I mean, with the success that we've had, in this NIL world, right, you had, Cody Simon was a guy who, just waited his time. It was like it wasn't working, then boom, he gets his last year and he goes out. Now he's in the NFL playing. And I think, it's happened to others as well that way. And I think it kind of shows these kids who are younger, like a Tavian, saying, all right, I'm going to bide my time here. I want to be a Buckeye. I love Ohio. This is a place I want to be. I'm getting great coaching from Ryan Day. All the quarterbacks that he's coached have gone on to do great things. Why would I leave? Why would I rush it? All I need is 1 year here at Ohio State. You go out and you have one good year at Ohio State, you're going to be set, as far as the NFL draft goes, if you do what you're supposed to do. So I think, seeing some guys in, the last couple of years have that success, because we don't typically have guys running to the portal, at the end of the year, because they want to be part of this. They understand, hey, this might not have been my year, but next year's my breakout year. And I just got to wait my time, and I'm going to get to where I want to go. So it's just, it goes back to the kids they're recruiting and the type of, program that they have, but they're also getting amazing coaching. Between, offensively, I'm always there, but between Ryan, Hart, Billy Fessler, I mean, they're getting some great coaching on that side of the ball. And then, of course, with Patricia coming in and Laurinaitis, I mean, it's an all-star crew. So, it's really easy to keep guys here, but this new world is you only need 1 year and then you're going to be fine. You're going to go to the NFL and you're going to be able to play there.
Arvell Reese.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Right?
You mentioned Cody Simon, and I was like, I got another one.
Well, he's this year. I'm thinking past years, but yeah, exactly.
I mean, he's the perfect example, right? The same thing as a lot of those guys waited it and now just exploded onto the scene. And look at him now. All right, let's talk about getting to the NFL. Certainly, Arvell Reese has helped himself this year. Want to turn our attention to some of the Buckeyes and the pros, because rumors swirling about some of former Ohio State wide receivers. Some updates on Justin Fields, too, with the Jets. We'll get all of it coming up. Buckeye Show right here on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Everybody poops, everybody pees. Mommy, will you call Mr. Rooter, please? 'Cause I gotta poop and I gotta pee. Only Mr. Rooter can clear the drain for me. Thank you, Mr. Rooter.
Hi, everybody. We call it what it is at Mr. Rooter. When you have a plumbing or drain problem, the team at Mr. Rooter is ready 7 days a week. Call us today and take advantage of our $95 drain cleaning special. Visit us at MrRooter.com. We'll be there quick.
Hi, I'm Rick Germain for Toyota West. And with over 600 new and pre-owned vehicles available, Toyota West at I-270 and Georgesville Road has the car you're looking for. And right now at Toyota West, take advantage of 0 down and 0 payments until 2026. And every pre-owned vehicle comes with a 72-hour exchange policy plus a 3-month warranty for qualified vehicles. Come see us at the Germain Auto Mall on Georgesville Road or get started today at ToyotaWest.com. Offer expires 10/31. No payments for deferred payment. Interest accrues at time of inception with approved credit.
As a former pro athlete, confidence has always been key for me on and off the field. And that's why I chose CAP for my NeoGraft treatment. They've got a great reputation. After doing my research, I knew I could trust the team right here in town. The staff was professional, answered every question, and made the whole process smooth and stress-free. The results are natural. It fit my busy schedule, and I already feel more confident. CAPS made it easy, judgment-free, and honestly, one of the best decisions I've made. Visit Caps today at experiencecaps.com.
Hey Columbus, it's Lorenzo Styles Jr., Ohio State student athlete. Football runs deep in my family. My dad played here, and now my brother and I are proud to carry on that tradition. At Monogram Homes, family matters too. They treat every homeowner like one of their own, building with care, precision, and pride. Monogram doesn't just build houses, they build homes, crafted just for you. So whether you're starting your first home or designing your dream space, Monogram Homes has got your back every step of the way. Visit monogramhomes.net to start building today. Monogram Homes, a builder you can trust.
Round here, it's all or nothing. And nobody has more all-wheel drive choices than Toyota. Now through November 3rd, get 4.75 APR financing on a new 25 RAV4 or 5.75 on RAV4 Hybrid, excludes plug-ins, or lease a gas-powered RAV4 LE for $309 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax title and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining healthcare.
The 2026 Buckeye Cruise for Cancer sets sail on the Silver Sea Silver Ray. It's an intimate ship with an even better experience. It's all-inclusive of beverages, shore excursions, taxes, and gratuities. Sail to bucket list ports like the Grand Turk, St. Martin, and St. Thomas. With Buckeye greats including Ryan Day, Bobby Carpenter, A.J. Hawk, the Boren Brothers, Ezekiel Elliott, Ryan Shazier, and more. Sailing from Fort Lauderdale, February 17th through the 24th. Call 614-792-6204 to book today.
Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Introducing Optimized IT, the managed services division of Modern Office Methods. With our cutting-edge managed IT services, we bring proven management strategies to the table to support your current IT team. That's not all. Our experienced team provides insight on how to maximize efficiency, helping you achieve your goals faster. Concerned about security? Our backup solutions help guarantee your data is protected around the clock, giving you peace of mind. Start at OptimizedIT.net for your free IT assessment. Stay ahead, stay secure, and stay optimized.
Join Rothman and Ice every Thursday at 2:30 for Gold Jacket Thursday.
Presented by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A new Hall of Famer joins the show every week, but not OJ because he's dead and probably a murderer. The Fan.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Patriot Air Comfort Systems and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
It's time for your daily dose of vitamin B. B stands for Buckeyes. Just in case that wasn't clear, you're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Matt Fontana and Justin Zwick got you tonight. Final segment coming up. Inside Edge coming at 7. A lot of NBA action tonight. But to wrap up the Buckeye Show, Justin, I thought, obviously, there's 1,000 Ohio State athletes in the NFL. So it's like I see news all the time, like Jackson Smith and Jigma just going crazy. And it's like, you know, to see all the receivers that go out, and it's just like, oh, man, Marv, you know. And then it's like, but JSN just doing what we all expect there. That's great. But the two other guys I saw today, mostly because we're getting close to the NFL trade deadline, is Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. Unfortunately, both those guys battling injuries at this point as well. But then there's also been like these crazy, like the Browns trading for like Garrett Wilson. Oh man,
don't do that to Browns fans.
I don't want it because it's like
don't do it to Garrett Wilson.
Garrett, dude, I need to get him out of New York. Like,
I agree.
I feel bad because it has not gone well there. Obviously, Justin Fields being there too, that pains me a lot because I thought Justin. I still think he can be good in the NFL in the right system. This year, obviously, has not gone well and all that. But both those guys coming up for surrounding, trade rumors. Same thing. The Saints not really projecting to be all that. of a good team. Maybe they're in that rebuild, potentially could move off from Olave. But it's just interesting because I always do that, just, tabs on all the Buckeyes and seeing what they're doing out there. And I'd love nothing more for the Browns to make that phone call, but I unfortunately don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, it would be. I saw that picture pop up, and I had to do some searching. Like, oh, did this really happen? Come on, we finally got a target up there for somebody to throw to.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be too good for the Browns, I think. I don't know if we'd make that happen. But yeah, I mean, it is fun because every Sunday you turn on a game, it's just like one of our guys is out there doing something amazing. I mean, JSN, dunked on a ref the other night, right?
Why did they throw the flag? Like, it was one of the most harmless. I'm watching the game. He did it, and you saw the ref,
it was perfect, too.
Turn,
Yeah.
and he's staring at him. He's like, oh, watch this, and he throws the flag. I'm like, come on, man. That's like one of the most harmless celebrations you could do. And I get that that's the NFL's rules now, but...
Well, I mean, I think you had all those tight ends doing it back in the day, and they were like, 275 pounds pulling down on the thing. So, I get that part of it. But, a little guy going up and just throwing down a quick dunk didn't do anything. But it's awesome to see him play. I was just looking up some stuff on Olave, too. I didn't realize, I don't watch much of the Saints, but I mean, he's in the top 6 in yards leaders, reception leaders, target leaders.
With Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, Spencer Rattler. That's what I'm saying.
I don't mean to take the shot.
No, you go ahead, please, because, I mean, that's not, the best situation for Chris down there. And you mentioned injuries. They said he's been injured. He's been on the injury report 4 times. He's missed 0 games. So if you're anybody out there, you're seeing they're trying to get him the ball. They want to get him the ball. He doesn't miss games. You've seen what he did, at Ohio State and through his first couple years in the NFL. I don't know why you wouldn't want to go try and steal either of those guys. Garrett's in a different world just because, I mean, you got to think the Jets brought in Aaron Rodgers, and he couldn't be good. So I just don't think anybody out there, unfortunately, is going to have any kind of success. I don't know, what the curse on the Jets is, but I would like to see, either of those two guys go somewhere to a winning team, just because you want the Buckeyes to be on good teams and have some more success, because that's what they're used to anyways. I imagine it's pretty tough going through all these losing seasons for those guys.
Another one's going to step up, Mecca Ibuka. Unfortunately, Mike Evans now on IR, broke his collarbone. Chris Godwin still coming off the injury. And Mecca had already jumped to the favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. But now that he is going to be truly the focal point for Baker Mayfield down there with Tampa Bay, like, never too late to get a ticket, especially any ticket at plus money. Like, grab while you can, because I think Emeka is about to take off here really, really soon.
Yeah, he's been really good. It's so fun to listen to Baker talk, who I wish was still in Cleveland, by the way, side note. But, it's fun. It's fun to listen to him talk about Emeka and just, like, early on in camp about how special he was and just, the type of person he is, the great football player he is, how smart he is. And you even saw, I think it was maybe the second week of the season, Baker's like, he called that play. He knew that was going to be open. And it took me back to the national championship game at Ohio State last year when he's on the sideline, they're looking at the iPad, and he's like, hey, when this guy's inside coverage, we got to run a go route. And then we saw that at the end of the game with Jeremiah. So it just shows how smart Emeka is and just how he goes about his business. So you love seeing him have a ton of success early on in the season. You just hope, having Mike Evans probably helped him a little bit just because, the defense, and Mike Evans has had, 11 straight seasons of 1,000 yards receiving, so, like, it's nice to have that on the other side. So you wonder how the defenses maybe, attack him now. But, a great start to the year, and, he's only going to get better as he learns this NFL game a little bit more and, he gets on into his career. So it's been great to see. You talked about Justin over there in New York, and that's tough. And I just saw an interview today. They asked him, "Did you see what the owner said?" And he's like, "No, I'm not on social media." And it's like, do you really have to bring this up to this guy? He's doing an interview, and you're gonna tell him how the owner is talking trash on him. It's like, come on, man.
He doesn't deserve that.
No,
I don't think any player deserves
does.
that.
Yeah.
But I feel so bad because, like I said, I'm just such a Justin Fields fan, and now Aaron Glenn. I get he's a rookie. I think he made a lot of mistakes, but he's like, we're gonna maybe go to Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor's hurt now. He's missing practice, so it's like, they're just a complete mess. And again, kind of comes back to what we were talking about with Garrett. Like, I was hoping that, Justin got the chance to start. He did. It just didn't work out there for a lot of different reasons. I think, unfortunately, maybe running out of opportunities for him. I hope he gets another one, maybe with another team, but certainly kind of goes the same with Garrett Wilson there at the Jets.
Yeah, it would be nice. And I remember watching, just to talk about Justin Fields a little bit more, when he was with the Bears, I remember watching the Browns game, and it was maybe 2 years ago before he went to Pittsburgh for the year. The Browns won, But Justin Fields threw like 3 touchdowns that were dropped. It's just like, and then everybody's just killing the kid. I'm like, I watched that game. They didn't lose because of him.
Yeah.
I think he's had a lot of that go on in his career. And unfortunately in the NFL, that's just, you have to have a little bit of luck, right? You got to fall into a good system. You got to have a good coordinator who knows how to use your strengths, and all that goes into it. And so I think he's just run into a lot of bad luck, unfortunately. And I hate to see it because I think he's a great kid. He's a great athlete. He was awesome here for the Buckeyes, of course. And you want to see him have some success. You just got to be in that right situation sometimes.
You do. And you go, guy, he can still play. I really think it. All right, coming up, Inside It, Justin, great doing a show with you. Really appreciate it. This has been The Fan.
No hot takes, no dancing, plenty of stupid. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan, Ohio Sports Desk.